Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday evening to you already. Boy, this weekend flew by. I don't know about yours. It is region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. Lots to talk about once again. I mean, obviously, you just saw me not too long ago. The other night, obviously, with all the severe weather, lots of damage cleanup. Just a quick update on that before we run our open and thank our sponsors. The Weather Service has still not surveyed the damage in Maryville or Valparaiso, right? We think it's all connected. If you were tracking with me the other night, or anybody, I mean, we were tracking that storm, that gust of wind that developed that could have been tornadic. I mean, a lot of this damage is looking like it was a tornado. But if not, it was straight line wind damage and it was equally as bad. But we could track that from Maryville through Hobart, areas near Valparaiso along US 30, picking up a lot of damage from that. So what has to happen, we can't confirm that tornado yet. I mean, it looks like it, right? Some of the indication in terms of the damage shows that, but we can't confirm it because National Weather Service is the official people that come on out and confirm that. And they have had their hands full. They've been working around the clock, confirming tornadoes left and right. I mean, they've got like 20 different spots that they need to check around Illinois, all the way back towards the Rockford area. So they're working their butts off, and they'll get to Maryville eventually, probably tomorrow or Tuesday was the latest update. We'll see, and we'll have a confirmation on that. But either way, lots of damage cleanup around not just Maryville and Valparaiso, but all the region. We saw hail, we saw damaging wind, just incredible wind energy with that system as it moved through. So that's now on its way out, obviously. You can see it. I'll show you just in a second. That is off the eastern seaboard, way up into Newfoundland right now. And what our attention turns to is another system moving into the west coast right now. This one's different, but it's got a bigger severe weather threat. I'm not sure it's quite as potent. I'll show you just some thoughts around it and some of the latest model guidance in this. But either way, it's still going to be a decent system, and there's going to be some kind of severe weather outbreak from this. So we'll cover that. But anyway, I just wanted to get that off the top because I know a lot of you have been messaging, hey, this is a tornado or what? Look at this damage. This has to be a tornado. And we just can't confirm it yet because Weather Service has to do that, okay? All right, we'll run our open, and then we'll get to the maps. We'll thank our sponsors, and we'll go forward with our typical Sunday evening edition of Region Weather Live. So we may not run her open. I don't know what's going on. Everything's kind of freezing up. We'll see what happens. We'll see if the open decides to run here for a little bit. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. It's kind of down right now. Done here. So we'll see. You know what? And I've never done this, but we're going to go ahead and do this because none of my buttons are working, even though they're on here. I'm going to end this broadcast, and we're going to come right back at you. I may not be able to end this. We'll see if this works. There we are. You guys with me? I don't know if this is working or not. Hi, Sherry. I like your comment. Oh boy, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. Everything on my screen, I have an interface where I can pull up everything. Everything just froze for the first time. I've never had that happen, even with really bad internet. So good. Jeff says, yes, we're back. Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's try this again. It looks like everything's working. So I'm going to go ahead and run her open. We'll be right back. getting started, everybody. That's great. All right. Glad to be with you. Sometimes it just takes two times to get things running again. I'm going to guess my wife's on Discovery Plus. We'll see what's going on. Anyway, as always, guys, it's a new month. We've got a brand new sponsor. It's Lance's Lawn Care. Don't let the name Lawn Care fool you. Lance and his team do everything from landscaping to all sorts of things. It's that time of year. If your lawn looks anything like mine and it's just a giant clump of leaves and some dirt, give Lance a call and his team. They're fantastic. Numbers there. You can see at the top corner of your screen. They're a wonderful group of folks. Lance has been a Region Weather follower for a long time, and we've been going back and forth. So good stuff. We love Lance and his crew. Ewing Mechanical Services, they make things happen indoor environment-wise. We talk about outdoor environment. They do indoor. Guys, these are all local businesses. So if you get a chance, if you need something done, whether it be furnace related, they have a new tune-up special for ACs. It's only $69 to come out and do it all. I mean, there's no gimmicks, nothing like that. They're a great company to work with. But these are all local folks. So, keep the money local. That way, they spend it local and everything stays in the region. That's the way to go. It's ewingmech.com. Our favorite plumbers, Tiger Plumbing, they've been with us for I think we're approaching almost 2 years now. We're probably at a year and almost a half. But anyway, tigerplumbing.net, they are a wonderful family-owned business in Northwest Indiana, and they come out for free. So if you have any problems, any drips, any leaks that you want them to take a look at, they'll come out. They won't even charge you for that, which this day and age, I mean, my wife and I went grocery shopping. Oh, my goodness. Especially with 3 kids, prices are just ridiculous. So I love that they do that. Tigerplumbing.net. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram out of Valparaiso. They've been with us almost 2 years as well. Wonderful car dealership. They do a lot in the community. So if you're in the market for a new Jeep or even used vehicles, they've got all sorts of things on the lot. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And then 2 of our newest sponsors. I want to get the word out about these because they're awesome. First of all, Public Service Adjusting. All right. They're local, and this just blows my mind that this exists because I never knew this. A lot of you have storm damage, right? If you have storm damage and you don't even want to deal with it, all right, publicserviceadjusting.com. They're a local group, wonderful ladies that work there. That they have videos on their Facebook page and all that, but they will come out, they'll assess the damage. They're all licensed, and just like your insurance folks are, all right, except for they work on your behalf. They'll check out the damage for you. They'll write an estimate and they'll file the entire insurance claim for you. All right. And what they will do is fight on your behalf to get more money from your cheap insurance company that doesn't want to pay you money. And again, they're amazing. They have rave reviews. It's publicserviceadjusting.com, especially with all this damage that we have. All that. Judehouse.org. Wonderful profit working. They need to buy or anything from them. They just want to get the word out around domestic violence. All right. And they've done some great work recently. They have a new mobile advocacy program. They've had meetings that have taken place in Gary, Munster, Cedar Lake, Crown Point with their community. And they want non-residential services are confidential and everything is free. They don't charge you anything for any of that. Through to Jude House, all right, and get some things set up. It's not fun to talk about, but it exists. In terms of the maps right now, this is what we're dealing with. Here's your big picture across the country, all right? Whenever you see on the map stuff going down in the west, okay, everything kind of sinking. Remember, what goes down must come up, and that's exactly what's happening out towards the west. Is there's a big dip in the jet stream, and what this is going to do is spin up a big old area of low pressure in the Central Plains states, and that low pressure is what's going to cause that severe weather outbreak as we get in the middle half of the week. So we're fairly quiet until then weather-wise. But in terms of an outlook, Storm Prediction Center puts these out. These are also on regionweather.com, nice and organized for you if you need. But this is tonight's threat. There's a threat down in Texas. Tomorrow it shifts. It's just a little bit further off towards the north. And this is mainly along the warm front. So the system isn't here yet. But we do have a risk for some stronger storms tomorrow with the warm front. Oftentimes, warm fronts produce a lot of lightning, You can get some hail with those. The tornado risk isn't very high with warm fronts, so keep that in mind. But you can see a couple marginal risks, one down towards Alabama, back towards Dallas. That'll be their second day in a row. And then we've got this one up towards us. Here's what's of more concern. So that's Monday night into today. This is Tuesday into Wednesday. And this is a much bigger threat. All right. This is that severe weather threat that we're talking about. And it encompasses a large area geographically. That does include us here in the region. Again, this is 3 days out, so we still have some time. There will be adjustments made to this by the Storm Prediction Center, but they're just giving an early heads up that we are going to have a pretty decent severe weather outbreak that will include more tornadoes across a good portion of the same areas that just got it, right? I mean, this is almost an exact match, exception being down towards the south. It's more Arkansas-based rather than Tennessee and Mississippi-based. But either way, I mean, it's lining up just like it did last time in Illinois, Iowa, and areas in northern Missouri. So that's what we have to look for. They'll adjust that over the coming days. But this is the system that we're watching. I want to show you kind of how this evolves, all right? This is the system out west right now. Again, they're going to have all sorts of heavy mountain snow from this out west. Here it is right here, circling with mouse cursor. Watch what happens as we go through time. This is Monday into Tuesday. And you notice this low kind of drops all the way down into the Four Corners region. Remember, what goes down must come up. So as they get this really unseasonably cold air mass all the way down into areas of Arizona, that's going to pump up the warm air mass from the Gulf of Mexico. So not only are we transporting more humidity back into the area, but we're transporting moisture and we're developing a strong area of low pressure. And that's what's going to happen during the daytime Tuesday. So tomorrow we're dealing with a warm frontal boundary out ahead of it. There will be some rain and some rumbles that develop, especially later in the day into tomorrow night. Some of those could be on the stronger side. I don't see a tornado risk from that. But as we get into Tuesday, that's when this low gets going. And you can see the path of it is out towards our west. What's different about this is there's not a sliver of warm air that's coming in where we warm up for 12 to 16 hours. This is going to be about a 2 or 3 day warm up out ahead of it. So all the moisture, heat, and humidity is going to be in place already. And so that's kind of where there's no question around, where the last one there was, like, how warm do we get? How high does our dew point get? This one, the warm air and the humidity is already there. The question is, how do these rounds of rain and storms evolve? We kind of settled on that last one. We kind of knew it was 2 waves about 24 hours out, which is pretty good for 24 hours out, understanding what the radar is going to look like. Because this is the atmosphere we're talking about. It never slows down. It never stops. It's extremely chaotic, especially during these storm systems. But we had it nailed down about 24 hours in advance of that last system. This one, I think it's going to take a little bit more time. There's more factors. There's more waves of rain that are going to develop. There's more thunderstorms that hinge on where storms developed the night before. But either way, we get into this warm environment Tuesday into Wednesday. Low pressure heads to the north. The other difference with this is that this low is going to be pulling away. So instead of this low continuing its track out towards the east with that push of energy that we have, the low kind of comes in with initial push, but then backs up as it heads back up. It kind of retrogrades as this whole system becomes what we call negatively tilted back into the Minnesota area. So the low has a push initially, but it kind of pulls back from that. So that's where I don't want to say I'm not convinced of a severe weather threat from this. I do think we will have severe weather with this, but I'm not convinced that this is a huge threat like last time. I'm just not sold on it yet because this low is different and the way it's winding up is different. So, there are some more things like we have the warmth and the humidity that kind of go in favor of severe weather, but the path of this low and the track of it, again, I've been a meteorologist for 15 years, not just in the region, but all over the country, including severe weather areas down towards the south. And oftentimes I just go with my gut and I can just look at a system and you can tell, right, as a meteorologist, kind of what it's going to entail and what kind of looks to have a big severe weather threat, what doesn't. And I'm not saying this doesn't. We're going to have severe weather, but is it going to be this huge outbreak like last time with tornadoes on the ground coming in from the west? I'm not too sure yet. And I'm going to need another day or so to decide that, depending on how this kind of shakes out. But either way, that line's out of here Wednesday. Wednesday would be our day. We get colder on the backside. And I mean, look at this low. It's not really tracking in. It's still tracking away. So there's a lot of energy heading away from us during this, which is a little bit different. And then after that, we get cold. Not too bad, though. Remember, cold this time of year is not that cold. We'll probably go back into the 40s behind this system. I mean, that's not 30s and 20s, which we had a couple weeks ago. And then we're going to rebound nicely. Remember, this time of year, we bounce back so quickly. It's really nice to see. And that will lead us into our Easter weekend. And all indication is that we warm up nicely for Easter weekend, probably 50s and 60s. And we should stay dry. There's another little system to watch that'll poke in here on Monday. That may speed up or change in the modeling. So we may end up with some rain on Easter Sunday, but we'll see in terms of how that evolves. Okay, so that's that. I do want to jump into a little bit more specifics, and I'll make this bigger for you because I know you probably can't see that. There you go. So this is, we're getting a first look at some of the high-res kind of imagery or modeling that comes in on this. It doesn't quite carry us through the severe weather event because, again, we're talking Wednesday on this, but it gets us close, so we can kind of see how things are going to evolve. So here we go. This is tomorrow. This is the warm front. Remember, there's really warm air trying to get in here. Will be mild. I think we make it well into the 50s tomorrow. We'll be pushing 60, but the rain is really going to keep us, once that rain develops in the afternoon, it's really going to keep us from getting too high in terms of temps. Real warm air down to the south, that overriding moisture and that transport's causing a lot of lifts. So that's why we'll have these showers and thunderstorms bubble up tomorrow. Those will continue tomorrow night. Notice how they continue to fire along this front. This is morning after a day of just downpour, no rain, rumbles of thunder in there as well. And then you notice how this keeps firing up. This is Tuesday morning now. We're still getting showers and thunderstorms to bubble up as this warm front tries to get in here. As of Tuesday morning, we'll have a nice northeast wind. It'll still be the cool side, but you get downstate, Indianapolis, Illinois, that's where the real warm air will be. It'll be a totally different environment once that warm front moves through. It'll be warm and humid down here. We're still cool Tuesday morning. And then as we go throughout the day, that's when this front finally lifts north. By Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, we should be firmly entrenched in the warm air. You'll notice showers and thunderstorms are now not bubbling up on us. They're bubbling up areas to the north, so like Wisconsin and areas of Michigan. That's where they'll see the rain. And that's when we enter our little warm spell. Tuesday night, and to start Wednesday, we look nice. And I'm talking like real nice. If you have shorts you haven't worn in a while, there you go. We'll see. And then, again, it doesn't go far enough to see anything. But this right back here, storm Tuesday night, does that come in and kind of fade, and then we get a new line that develops? Those are all the questions that need to be sorted out, okay? But just know, Wednesday's our day that we're going to have to track for some severe storms around here, okay? We may have a strong storm tomorrow night, even Tuesday with that warm front, we could get some strong storms, but that bigger threat's going to be on Wednesday, all right? In terms of temperatures, I want to run you through that, and then we'll answer your questions for you. Again, we'll have more coverage over the days to come in terms of the severe weather. We're not just going to say, hey, there's a chance and let you go. That's certainly not what we're about here. Okay, I do want to take you through temps because they're pretty interesting, and I want to get into, let's go into state level for you. That way we can see it a little bit closer, because we're going to have the lake this time of year wreaks havoc on temperatures sometimes, all right? So I want to show you kind of how the lake plays into things. This is tomorrow. This is the Euro run, the one I trust the most. It has this well into the 60s. I think that rain may hold us back from getting mid and upper 60s. It's saying mid 60s. Notice a little bit cooler near the lake. Either way, it will feel spring-like tomorrow. Okay, so not bad. And then as we get into Tuesday, here you go. Nice warm air finally getting here. Remember, this is going to take a little bit of time, so we're going to start cool Tuesday morning. But by afternoon and evening, that warm front will surge north. And we're talking 70s, folks. I hope that's okay with you. I mean, we're due, right? It's been a while in widespread. And you get downstate, we're talking 80s. I mean, this is a true spring-like air mass. It'll be pretty nice. If anyone lives near a body of water, whether it be a pond or a creek or something like that, my favorite time during the year is when it first warms up, those first 2 70-degree days, which we're going to have this week, and the peeper frogs come out. You know what I'm talking about? The frogs that boop, 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 boop. I think we're going to have peeper frogs out Tuesday night and Wednesday. I'm really excited for it. Anyway, I digress. I hope some of you know what I'm talking about. So there's Tuesday night. And then look at this. I mean, Tuesday night, we're staying in the 60s for lows as it looks right now. We're going to stay very mild around here. And then here's Wednesday. We're in the 70s still. We've got the warmth. We've got the humidity around. And here comes your cold front right here. This is late Wednesday, all right? We go from in the 70s to the 40s, not sharply, but we'll go there pretty quickly with that cold front. I want to get, that was on a 6-hour scale. I want to get the exact frontal passage for you here. Yeah, so this is Wednesday afternoon. So that front, the Eurosync in the front's going to pass Wednesday afternoon. And I totally agree with that. So we'll make it into the 70s Wednesday. This is Wednesday evening. We go from 70s back into the 50s. And then you notice we're back. I mean, this is what we just did. So it's nothing unusual. We're back into the 30s for lows and kind of chilly on the backside of that. Okay. All right. So that's it. That's what we're doing in terms of temps. As we get in the latter half of the week, we will have a wind off the lake. I think it's Thursday or Friday. So our lakeshore communities are going to be markedly colder than everyone else. But, that's just kind of what happens this time of year. All right. So severe weather threat Wednesday, again, we're going to have some storms around here later tomorrow night. Could have some good lightning with those. We tend to have that with warm fronts. Could see some hail. I don't see a big severe weather threat until Wednesday. And I'm kind of questioning at this point, how bad will it be? All right. Based on the models, based on the way I see it unfolding, I'm not too sure it's going to be as bad as the last round that we had. But who knows? Things could change. Again, things fluctuate a lot. All right. Let me get to your questions because I know you guys have great questions. First one I see is Mark. Mark asks, is it too early to talk about corn sweat? Mark, yes. I always get hate mail after corn sweat questions. Corn sweat being when the corn in Iowa and areas of the Midwest grows, right? And once they become pretty full grown, July, August, September, there's evapotranspiration. There's lots of water and moisture that evaporates from corn, all right? There is from every plant. And that adds to the dew point or the humidity in the air. And we get some really thick dew points because of the corn crop out towards the west. It's called corn sweat. It's not actually sweating. It's evapotranspiration. But anyway, super interesting fact. So we see. Danette's with us. Hi, Danette. Danette, I can't say your name for some reason. She said, we rode storms down to Florida one Saturday and back the following Friday. End of a tornado. Oh, my goodness, Danette. I hope you guys are okay. That sounds kind of crazy. Well, I mean, I'll let you know if we're having more based on the fact of if you're going to Florida again or not. If you stay at home, we should be just fine. But I'm glad you're safe and your family's safe there. That sounds crazy. Let's see. Ashley, Tuesday evening, I don't think it's going to be bad. And that's a great question. We may have some storms around, but I think we'll be in the warm sector on Tuesday evening. So in my mind, as of right now, how this plays out, again, could change. It's weather. But I think Tuesday evening we would be in the warm sector, so we would be dry. It'd be warm outside, humid. It'd be pretty nice. And I think most of the stormy activity is going to be out towards the west with that cold front. Okay. Let me see. Debbie asked a long question. That's okay. Do you know how fast that third strong storm line with the shelf cloud and high winds was traveling Friday night? Winds in Valpo were at 75 on the radar. It looked as though it was moving fast, emerged with other storm systems. Skysford and Greed sound like a freight train. Yeah. Debbie, that's the storm we were tracking, and it did produce a lot of damage with that, with the wind. Whenever you guys see green sky during a thunderstorm, that's usually because it has hail in it. Hail reflects differently. It also has to do with the sun angle. If the sun's going down, you can get different colors that get refracted and reflected up in the atmosphere. But it's usually a sign of hail when you have a green cloud or you see kind of that greenish skew on there. In terms of those storms merging together, they didn't merge, Debbie. What happened was, we were tracking it in from the west, and there was an area of energy. Everything was kind of focused within it on one point, and that one point came together right in Maryville, where wind from this northern stream kind of came with the southern stream, which I guess would be merging. But in terms of what the radar looked like, nothing really merged, but wind kind of merged within it, if that makes sense. And this tremendous amount of wind just developed right over Maryville. That's the one that produced the damage, went through Hobart, and then eventually Valparaiso in spots. And it was incredible. The winds estimated above the surface were 85 to 90. And again, the radar is estimating it up we're at cloud level. So, a lot of that was coming down to the ground. But that ramped up in a hurry. That's often how it happens. And I think they did a great job warning that storm those of you that were with me, we were talking about these storms, and I remember with that one and then the one down to the south, I said, we need to treat this like a tornado warning. Like this needs to be tornado warned, even if it's not. There's very, very strong tornado-like winds within this. And I'm not kidding. Both of those storms, about a minute and a half to 2 minutes later, National Weather Service warned it, which was great. So I thought they were really on it in terms of that. And I hope our coverage helped. I know it did. A lot of you said had some great feedback on that. But one of the things that I really like about storm coverage, And again, I'm humble as can be, but I love radar analysis. That's one of the things I love. And doing radar analysis, I would love to work for a weather service and be able to issue these tornado warnings and stuff like that. Because even on the TV side here at home, there's been a couple times where I've called something out and then the weather service will issue it, or I've asked them, hey, are we going to issue this? And then they issue it. So I just want you to know that we are not a lot of these weather folks that are online, which is fine. They do a great job, but they'll just kind of recycle information. I notice a lot of weather pages around Indiana and Illinois. They just take what the Weather Service has and they put it out, right? And that's fine. They're getting the word out. But I want you to know, like, I'm not recycling any information. I'm creating that information to give to you. All of our graphics I create from scratch. There's a lot of work that goes into this and a lot of pride that goes into that as well. But I just want you to know, like, you're not getting a recycled version of weather forecasts here, okay? Everything's getting created from scratch. It's kind of like a bakery that makes their own stuff, or they buy the donuts from someone else and sell them, okay? So I just want you to know that, okay? I don't want to waste your time, and you're not wasting my time either, okay? We're all in this together, so there's that. Let's see. So let me see some other... Okay, let's see. Jen asks, we have a trip planned to St. Louis Tuesday, trying to figure out how bad it'll be. Don't want to get stuck in something like that in Maryville Friday, right? Jen, Tuesday is interesting because once you get towards St. Louis, that's when we're starting to mess with the storm and the development of all this. So here's the model run. This is Tuesday afternoon right here, okay? The storms have not developed Tuesday west of St. Louis. So I think right now, if you head out early Tuesday, if you get there by evening to St. Louis, you should be okay. I really think Tuesday evening is not going to be bad around here. We're going to have real warm temperatures, a nice south wind. The warm front should have lifted to the north by then. So I think you'll be okay for that. Okay. Maxwell always asks great questions. What are your thoughts on the cap on Tuesday? So what he's talking about in terms of the cap is a lot of times you'll have this sneaky... Okay, let's just start over. When thunderstorms and clouds rise, right, they continue to rise and grow with the expectation that it gets colder as you go up in the sky. That's a typical day. It gets colder the higher you get in the sky. Okay, as simple as I can put it, that's a typical day. What a cap is, and you guys hear this with severe weather coverage a lot, is when there's different layers of the atmosphere, and you'll get this warm air that comes in there, whether it be from a warm front. I mean, it could be from a leftover thunderstorm day before. It's real messy, but you can get this little layer of warm air aloft, a lot of times in the mid levels. All right. And what happens is these clouds will rise, but then they'll hit that warm air and they'll say, okay, I can't cool and condense anymore, so I can't go any higher. So the clouds stay, and you'll see this in the summertime. You'll know when there's no cap because the cumulonimbus clouds in the summertime go way up 50, 60,000 feet, right where they form the anvil. You see these towering cumulonimbus clouds. If there's a cap in place, you don't see that. You see just little basic cumulus clouds that never break through that cap because it's warm air and it's cold air, and it hits it and it says, okay, I don't need to form anymore. So the cloud can't go above that warm air level. Sometimes if you get violent enough updrafts with like real strong heating, like let's say we go up to 86, 88 degrees at the surface, that will drive real warm air up fast. Sometimes you can break that cap. So it'll go through that warm air layer, hit the cold air, and boom, and then the cloud is really off. So that's what they talk about in terms of severe weather with a cap in place. And there will be a cap in place on Tuesday into Wednesday. And I think, with that in place, I don't... Maxwell, to answer your question, I don't think it's going to play a role because we will have enough cold air aloft, especially once this system starts to move in, that we aren't going to have a problem with that like we would in the summertime. And it does happen this time of year, but I don't see that happening. Good question, though. Emilio asks, or he says, big question, will this be worse than the one on Friday? We'll be getting updates during the storm. And you're absolutely welcome. Yes, I hope everyone stayed calm during this. Emilio, again, my thoughts at the beginning of the broadcast, we talked a little bit about it, but I don't want to say this isn't going to be as bad as that. Personally, I don't see it being as bad as that. My gut says it's not going to be. And the reason why is just the way the low pressure is heading by. It's not coming in directly with a push of energy in here that creates the lift and races these storms through here. We'll see some powerful storms develop. they'll probably come in and they may redevelop just off towards our west, and I still think we see strong to severe storms. The tornado risk is still there. We can't rule that out, but my gut tells me that this isn't going to be as bad locally as this last one. But then we have to do something called define what bad means, right? Some of you didn't see much of anything from this last storm. You saw some rain and some strong winds, all right? Others have a ton of damage in their yard, all right? So bad can be defined different ways. So if this next storm, if the majority of us don't see anything, but one community actually gets a tornado out of this, what kind of definition are we working with here? So just keep that in mind. I can't tell you what it's going to be like where you are, all right, because we're still trying to forecast what these storms are going to look like when they develop. But it's going to be something we need to watch. We'll need to keep our guard up on this one. The Weather Service Storm Prediction Center saying the threat is as big as the last one, at least in terms of the outlook. So we'll keep an eye on it. I do think we get severe weather. Okay. And in terms of coverage, to answer your question, I was on vacation this last week. I'm back to work tomorrow. So I do have broadcasts that I need to handle on the TV side of things. But again, in between that, if there's storms moving in, we always find a way, and we'll do coverage and keep you updated on the latest in terms of all that. Okay. So there's that. Let's see. Kim says, hi, Matt. Can we expect another cold front by Thursday, or will temps continue to be warm and spring-like? That's a great question, Kim. This is going to be accompanied by a cold front. And so late Wednesday, probably Wednesday afternoon is when this front looks to pass. Temps will go from the 70s Wednesday after a real nice Tuesday too. Nice day tomorrow too. We'll have rain and storms. But anyway, they're going to fall back probably 40s for highs to near 50 on Thursday. And then Friday, we're going to slowly step some warmer air in here this weekend. So Easter weekend really isn't looking that bad. I think we're going to have lots of sunshine behind this. We'll settle in a nice quiet pattern for 3 or 4 days. We could really use a drying out around here as well. I know a lot of you are going to be doing some yard work starting this week. That grass is starting to grow. I don't know if anyone's mowed yet, but there's tufts in our yard, and we'll be getting there, but we could use some dry weather to be able to do all that stuff. So that's kind of where we're going. Lance, no problem. Lance is our newest sponsor that we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast. Lance's Lawn Care. He and his team are fantastic. And Lance, it's my pleasure working with you. I appreciate all your trust in our weather forecasts over the last couple of years, for sure. Donna asked a really good question. Donna, this is on a lot of people's mind as well. Can you give us any news on whether we're done with snow or not? I'm glad you asked. You ask and I'll deliver here. Let's get into the long term, shall we? I don't think we're done with snow. Climatologically, we're like, I told you last Sunday, we're like 98% done with seasonal snow. Typically, we're about 99% done right now. But that 1%, I'm telling you. So I want to show you the GFS. All right, this is long range. This is 10 to 15 day. We have cold air coming in behind this. It's not cold enough to produce snow locally. But this next one, which is like April 11th, somewhere around there, all the models are picking up on it. I don't want to say anything yet. It's early. Again, here's the positive in this. All right. The cold air doesn't last long this time of year. We have nice bounce backs in terms of temperatures. Average highs in the mid 50s now. So that's our midpoint. Okay, here we go through time. This is the GFS. This is how it handles the system moving in. There's your warm front. Here's our cold front. This is going to be a snowstorm up in Minnesota again. What a winter they've had. Here's our cold front. This is the system with the severe weather this week, Tuesday, Wednesday. Again, it just doesn't look compact to me. There's all this noise at the beginning right here. And then when it pushes through, the low is pulling back so that the push is there initially, but it's kind of like on its own when it moves through. So, we'll see. There's going to be lots of wind energy with this. There's a good jet stream. But you notice there's not a real compact line. We'll see how it evolves. It doesn't scream huge threat for me. Here's your colder air behind it. No snow, but cold. Not bad though. Here's Easter weekend. We're fine. Another system zips in. Here's Easter Sunday. Looks dry. Another system zips in here Monday. Here's what I'm talking about right here. This system on Monday, Tuesday. This is next Monday and Tuesday, the 10th and the 11th. All indication is there's I don't want to say Arctic front. There's a front diving in from Canada. At the same time, it's meeting up with a low coming to deep south. Okay, and those two kind of spin like a top when they meet. And basically, what it's going to do, as of right now, what it looks like is it's going to grab cold air from Canada and drive it south behind this. So what that does, says the GFS, it spins up like this thing right here, where there's this low with snow, Ohio, West Virginia. I would imagine that this may kick off some lake effect. Oh, there you go. It has it. Tuesday. There's your lake effect. Um, I mean, and this would be a real heavy wet snow for New York, areas of interior New York. But look, we bounce back quickly. I mean, we're back into the 60s and 70s right after that. So that being said, keep an eye on April 10th and 11th, because we're going to have some kind of cold air mass around here. Is our storm with? Is it cold enough for snow? That's really what we need to watch. Okay. So that's that. Yeah, Justin says, I see after the storm, the severe weather takes a break for a little bit. Yeah, for sure, Justin. It looks like it for now. And I mean, 2 severe weather events in a week, a week's time, that's enough for us for sure. Debbie brings up a good point. Sun felt summer-like this afternoon. She got a sunburn. Keep in mind, guys, sunburn has nothing to do with temperature, okay? If you were to go outside today and it was 40 degrees, you would get just as burnt as if you went outside and it was 85 degrees, okay? It has nothing to do with temperature. It's about the sun angle and what time of year it is, okay? And in March, well, now it's April. In April, our sun angle, we're 2 months off from the summer solstice, right? So take it 2 months the other way. Our sun angle is the same sun angle as it is in August, all right? Temperatures may not be as warm because it takes a while to warm, right? But keep that in mind. You can get burnt in August outside. You can get just as burnt this month. So this is sunscreen season, okay? And it started last month, but just because it's cold outside, it has nothing to do with how you get burnt. You get burnt based on that sun angle and what time of year it is, okay? Donna, I think it was COVID year, wasn't it 2020? Because I remember 2020 was the year that just kept on giving. It's like, man, we just can't catch a break. I think we saw some flakes in 2020. Emilio, I think that the main storm's not going to roll in tomorrow night. What we're going to see tomorrow night is this part right here, the working here. So the warm air is not here yet. So tomorrow we're going to kick off just some showers and storms around here. They'll be bubbly in nature. That continues into Tuesday right here. And again, some of these could be strong to severe along the warm front. This isn't the big event, but this could be an event. We could get some hail and some lightning out of these. That's Monday into Tuesday. So tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. And then after that, everything kind of lifts north. All right. Everything lifts north here. I think I saw, Adrian, I saw your question here. Can you clarify the timing of the severe weather? National Weather Service saying Tuesday, but you think it'll be Wednesday. I think once we get into, I think most of Tuesday's fine. And that's my opinion, unless I'm looking at something weird. Again, I study this stuff before I go on air. I'm not looking at it with you for the first time most of the time. But in terms of development, I think much of Tuesday, this warm front will lift north and we'll be fine. Tuesday night is when we start to kind of dance with this stuff. Because what I'm expecting is this big development of a line out towards the west Tuesday, and then here late day. Does it make it this far? That's the big question. That rolls in here Tuesday evening and Tuesday night. And then the frontal boundary is not here yet. So Wednesday, I think, would be your other severe weather day with that frontal passage. And that's not going to pass till afternoon. So that's, I know Storm Prediction Center's going, they blanket it Tuesday night and Wednesday with that threat. And it's all going to start west. This isn't going to be something that pops on us. So I don't see Tuesday as being a threat. Tuesday late evening, maybe. Tuesday night, sure, with that initial line. And then we'll watch maybe more development on Wednesday. I hope that clarifies it, okay? Let's see. Is there a chance, Nikki? Yeah, there is with this. She says, is there a chance all the rain will calm things down a bit? Yeah, Nikki, that's certainly the case. And again, that's why I kind of don't see this being a huge event right now, because I can't in my mind see how this huge round of storms develops with wave 1 and wave 2 coming through of potential rainfall Tuesday night into Wednesday. So again, I'm not sold on a huge severe weather threat for us yet. Is there going to be severe weather? I don't doubt that there's going to be severe weather west of us, and we could get severe weather as well, right? The threat is there. I'm just not sold on it yet. That's it. Okay. And again, we'll have updates. This could all shift tomorrow, and all of a sudden, I say, okay, well, warm front's out. Modeling now agrees. Here's our threat. And yeah, we do have a threat. Okay. And she's going to have an interesting trip for sure, because it's not just going to be us. Eventually, whatever develops Wednesday is going to be shifting east. So I would imagine she's going to counter some thunderstorms, but she might thread the needle on this. We'll see. There's going to be quiet periods mixed in with this as well as stuff develops. Okay, Nikki, you're welcome for sure. All right, guys, I think that's it. I'm going to let you go. As always, boy, 40 minutes goes fast, and I think half of that was trying to figure out the computer issues at the beginning. For those of you that didn't catch it, I don't know what happened, but buttons weren't working. Again, we'll be with you this week, okay? I mean, we've got 2 days to sort this out. We'll have updates. I mean, you guys know that. We'll have them on the radio side of things too. We're on area radio stations, you know that, which is awesome. Get up early and record with them. That should be fun. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. All right, guys, stay safe. Enjoy the quiet weather. Enjoy the spring-like temperatures to start the week too. I'm pretty pumped about that. And if you are near a body of water, I'm telling you, I think you're going to have the peeper frogs out this week, okay? All right, talk to you soon.